It's the book of Matthew 24 and verse 6. It says, Ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but then it's not yet. Matthew 24 verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. And this is the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 38 and verse 4. And I will turn, it says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thy army, horse and horsemen, all of them clothed, all sorts of armor, even a great couple of buckler shoes, all of them handling swords, and with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Shalom, first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Wakar Kadash, Barakatham to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim, Wa'akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is a sit-down lesson that I want to bring out for the prophecy updates as of December the 2nd, 2025 on this Tuesday afternoon. And once again, the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew, the Lost tongue. And I say Barakatham to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim, Wa'akwaf, and I say Shalom. So I'm going to play this video clip from Double 7, so I give him credit. Even though I believe the Trump administration went to meet with Vladimir Putin today, I'm not for sure if this was today or yesterday, I believe. Because I think Vladimir Putin had welcomed the Trump administration, one of the workers from the Trump administration went over there to see Vladimir Putin, potentially to ease the tensions between, Russia and Ukraine. And despite the fact of all that, we definitely been seeing, recently, for the past couple of months, and so far in the year 2025, we've been seeing rising tensions, been heating up between Russia and NATO. Keep that in mind as well, too. And while you have the ongoing Russia-Ukraine situation, despite the fact they're trying to push forth ceasefire agreements and trust agreements, as they're trying to de-escalate the tensions. Because you had a news article, I believe it was like a couple of days ago, you had the from Vladimir Putin, was a report from a news article. He said that he's going to fight to the end. So that shows you an indicator right there if that report was true from a news article from RT.com. So if that is true, that gives you an indicator, despite the fact they're trying to push forth a ceasefire agreement between Russia and Ukraine. And I believe it was a news article. You had India and I think India and China had signed deals with Russia. I believe that's from RT.com. So I'm going to bring out that news article as well too. But in the meantime, I'm going to bring out this video clip. I believe it's 2 minutes and 47 seconds. I'm going to give this video credit to Double 77. So here go the video clip that I'm about to play.
Hey guys, Dabu 7. We've got saber rattling coming out of Russia in terms of World War III and Vladimir Putin flexing and trying to tell Europe that, look, if you don't back off, we're ready to go to war if you try to do something here. He is directly blaming France, Germany, the UK, their leadership for constantly wanting to fight, regardless of any situation. They see Russia as the big bad boogeyman, so to speak, and that they're fueling everything with Ukraine. Now that the United States is like pulling out of the whole thing and trying to set up a peace process, Putin has his eyes set square and he's putting a threat out there. He's saying that they don't want to pick a fight, but if they bring it to them, they're ready. They're ready for war right now. And that if this doesn't cease and stop at this point, that's where it's going to go. As soon as the United States steps out of the fray, then all eyes go on to these other countries in terms of Russia. He also goes on to say here that this is an opportunity for them to make peace, and if they don't, there's not going to be anyone left to negotiate with. Meaning they'll be wiped off the map if something happens here. Then at the same time, you have Chinese and Japanese boats squaring off in a standoff near Taiwan. And really, the sides of World War III are there. Yes, China and Russia have each other's back and they're supporting Venezuela. But when it comes to Latin America, there's a whole slew of countries that are going to fall on the side of the United States. With really Cuba the biggest support Venezuela has there. But it could pop off here at any moment on that front. It's already going down here in the Ukraine. And we'll see where this goes from here. But these are the latest threats here coming from Putin, just flat out saying they're ready for war if they want to push it. And this is outside of Ukraine because their vessels are getting hit all around the globe now. So Russia's like, look, fair game. If our stuff's getting hit all around the globe on the other side of Africa, drone struck, then any and all of you are fair game, is how he's putting it. This sets the whole world up as a stage for war. Literally, World War III in motion with all these countries. Join me for the live streams going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, talking about this in further detail. Hope to see you guys there. Much love.
Ezekiel chapter 30, verse 4, it says, And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth in all thy army. Horse and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company of shields, all of them handling swords. Right, so despite the fact Russia is opening to peace deals, to make some type of potentially progress, what the Russia-Ukraine situation was ongoing right now, and the rising tensions between NATO and Russia, because you got the European Union and NATO. Tensions are heating up between, the European Union and NATO versus Russia. As you've been having the European Union, NATO been accusing Russia of violating the airspace, of Poland, Estonia, Romania as well too, because that's been going on for the past 3.5 months now. So especially with Poland, because that happened previously, they violate the airspace. I would say like last year, previous years, and it happened once again recently, a couple months ago. So that shows that's an indicator right there. Tensions really been heating up between the European Union and NATO versus Russia, and Belarus and Russia together versus European Union and NATO. So that shows that's a sign of wars and rumors of wars. It says, And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth in all thy army, horse and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company of bucks shields, all of them handling swords. Right, so Russia, hey, the Heavenly Father going to continue to put that mindset on the Russians to be in that warlike mindset. And then Dabu 7 was breaking it down about the alliance increasing, because Russia got allies to back them up as well too, just in case they come under enemy threat from the Western countries, like the United States, the European Union, NATO, and their allies. And then Russia, they got backup as well too, because you got Iran, North Korea, and China to back up Russia. Ezekiel chapter 30, verse 5, it says Persia, which is Elam, Ethiopia, the Cushites, and Libya are put with all of them with shield of him. Ezekiel, that's why you're seeing the alliance between China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, Libya, Ethiopia, put them included in that as well too, right along with the Latin American countries. It says Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with all of them with shield of helmet. Ezekiel chapter 30, verse 6, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, many people with thee. Right, because you got the Turkish armies, they got military bases over there in Iraq and Syria as well too. And then you got Russia, they military base over there in Syria as well too, because Russia and Syria, they allies. Even though the United States trying to have a deal between Israel and Syria, so we're going to see how that plays out. And then the United States trying to have a alliance with Syria as well too. So we're going to see how that plays out. So keep this in mind. Previously, you had talks between Israel and Syria. It didn't last very long. Just like Turkey and Syria, they had. Turkey and Israel, I meant to say. Those talks didn't last long. Just like Syria and Israel had talks didn't last long, I meant to say. So we're going to see how this plays out. But that recent meeting, president of Syria met with the president Donald Trump last month. Last time I checked, so you're gonna see a lot of military building up over there in Syria of Damascus. That's a future prophecy that we see in the making, like that Isaiah 17 verse 1. Because you still got those proxy groups over there, the pro-Iranian groups, potentially might set their sights against the United States armies and the Israel Defense Force armies. That's going to lead up to the Third World War, just like Double Seven was talking about. Because you got the latest tensions heating up down in Latin America, Central and South America, especially for the past 3.5 months, with the tension between President Maduro versus Trump administration, President of Donald Trump as well too. And you got the military on standby down in Venezuela, and then you got Cuba, which is an ally to Venezuela as well too. And then you got Russia, because Russia and China are allies to Cuba and Venezuela as well too. So hey, that's another sign of wars or rumors of wars heating up. I just want to add a sad note to that. This is Ezekiel chapter 30, verse 6. It says, Gomer and all his bands in the house of Togarmah office. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah off the north quarters, and all his bands, many people with thee. So best believe you're going to have the Turkish armies. They got their military bases down there in Iraq and Syria. And their main target will be going against the Israel Defense Force. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 7. Be thou prepared, prepare for thyself and all thy companies that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a garden to them. Right, so Russia is going to be a garden to them. Ezekiel chapter 30, verse 8. After many days thou shalt be visited, in the latter years thou shalt come into land that is brought back forth from the sword, and is guided out of many people, and against the mountains of Israel, which had been always waste, but is brought back out of the nations, and that dwell safely of all of them. But definitely Russia is going to be a guard to these nations, Iran, Ethiopia, Libya, and Turkey, with their ongoing tensions against the Western countries and their allies of the Israel Defense Force, the Western countries, European and NATO, and all their allies versus China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. All that's going to lead up to the Third World War. And that's what we're seeing. That's going to lead up to over there in Western Asia. And this is Matthew's 24. Get back to that. Yeah, Matthew's 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but it is not yet. Right, so that 2-minute 47 clip that I just played from Double 77, I give him credit for that. As he explained in that video about the potentially rising tensions been heating up between NATO and the European Union versus Russia, and while the Russia-Ukraine situation is going on as well too. It says, ye shall hear, and the tensions have been heating up quite a while recently between Russia and the United States of a nuclear arms race. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? So on an everyday basis, we see the increasing heating up of the wars and rumors of wars between the nations. Yeah, the armies of nations rise against one another. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but it is not yet. Matthew's 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation. Right, so for nation shall rise against nation, which goes into ethnos, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Right, so on top of that, we're going to be seeing the increasing uptick of famines and pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places, and the wars and rumors of wars that we hear on a daily basis that Yahushua spoke about, and the increasing of the nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And this is the prophet Joel, chapter 3 and verse 9. Just like Double 7 said, with this latest situation that's going on with the Russia-Ukraine situation, with the Russia-Ukraine situation, and between NATO and Russia versus, between NATO and Russia versus one another. And then this is a increasing building up scenario that the nations are in that warlike mindset. This is Joel chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, right? The Gentiles are the armies of the other nations. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty man. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Right, so let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. As they're being gathered over there in Western Asia. And all the nuclear escalations or tensions are heating up around the world, among the nations as well too. Joel chapter 3, verse 10, beat your plowshares and the swords and the pruning hooks into spears and let the weak say I'm strong. Right, just like what's going on over there in the Korean Peninsula, what's been going on for for quite a while. So tensions have definitely been heating up, even though it's been on and off back and forth. But we definitely seeing the resurgence of the tensions are escalating once again between North Korea building up their nuclear capabilities versus North Korea versus South Korea, Japan, United States that have been heating up. Tensions down there in the South China Sea that have been heating up. North Korea, what's that? China versus Taiwan that have been heating up. The disputed territorial waters not too far from the South China Sea. China versus Taiwan. China versus the Philippines that have been heating up as well too. The Russia-Ukraine situation, what's been going on over there in the Middle East, which is Western Asia, those been heating up. The pro-Iranian groups, Houthi rebels, all together going against the Israel Defense Force over there in Western Asia, throughout that whole region. So these are signs of wars and rumors of wars. And the Heavenly Father's putting that warlike mindset of these armies of nations. And let the weak say I'm strong. That's what we're seeing. And this is the Gospel of Luke 21 and verse 25. It says, "And there shall be signs in the sun, and the moon, and the stars upon the earth, distress of nations, or perplexity where one." Right, so that's what we're seeing the increasing of Yahweh Shai spoke about. These signs in the sun, and the moon, and the stars that he's showing us. He's showing us these signs in the sun and moon with this blood moon, solar eclipse, chariot sightings, this recent adolescent situation that been taking place for the past 2.5 months. And notice that second as the ninth chapter that the Heavenly Father spoke about through Ezra's about the plain beginning and powerful works and any effects and signs. So that's something that will continue to increase. As I add a side note to that, read that again, the Gospel of Luke 21 verse 25. "And there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars upon the earth. The disgrace of nations will perplex sea born." Right, that's what we're seeing. Yep, so as it's it says Putin, World War III, wars, rumors of wars, Putin warns. Yep, it says Putin. Yep, it says from Bible 777, World War III. It says Putin warns, ready. Yep, it says Putin warns, ready for war against Europe if attacks on Russian tankers, energies continues. Right, and that's what Ukraine been doing. They've been using continual strikes on Russia tankers. Even though I believe Russia been doing the same thing to Ukraine, so they've been doing that towards each other back and forth ever since the war started. Because they called it a special military operation ever since February 2022, and ever since then, tensions been heating up between Russia and Ukraine, and nations between the European Union and NATO going against Russia. So these are signs of wars and rumors of wars. Right, I'm going to go to the RT.com prophecy updates. So yeah, these wars, rumors of wars are definitely heating up. All is going to lead into the Third World War. It says, oh yeah, that's what I was wanting to talk about. Yep, it says Putin welcomes the U.S. envoy to Moscow for Ukraine talks. Right, so Vladimir Putin, he's open to talks, but besides that, he's gonna defend if potentially Russia might come under attack, as Vladimir Putin said that warning towards the European Union and NATO, as tensions been heating up between NATO versus Russia and the European Union. So that's the signs of wars and rumors of wars. And this is it says Putin reveals a new plans with China and India. Moscow wants to bring economy cooperation with both nations to a new level by focusing on technology, the president has said. It says France won't direct war in Ukraine conflict, Russian intelligence reports. Right, that's another sign of wars and rumors of wars. It says Russian parliament ratifies military agreement with India. It says the logistic pact is aimed at screaming bilateral drills and rescue efforts. So that's wars and rumors of wars. It says Putin blasts the EU fantasy of Russian defeat. It says Moscow have no intentions of fighting the bloc, but it's ready to respond to any attack. The president has said, "Yeah, wars and rumors of wars." It says Su-57 fighters high on Putin's agenda for India trip. Russian flagged tanker attacked by Black Sea. Putin, India visit a major step towards deepening ties. Deepening ties, I meant to say. The deputy prime minister reports. All right, get to some get to the news now. It says Maduro dance in the streets as tensions with the U.S. escalate. It says Fox News, Putin warns Russia.
Hello, Moto.
It's Akia spam call. I don't know why they keep on calling me. Fox News says Putin warns Russia ready if Europe suddenly wants wage war with us amending Ukraine talks. Right, so that's another sign of wars or rumors of wars. The Washington Times. Lee backs a nuclear-armed South Korea, but says without U.S. support, the prospect is off the table. It says Pope Leo warns U.S. on Venezuela invasion, urged less fear on immigration. Right, so in the meantime, we're definitely going to be seeing tensions only going to escalate between the Venezuela armies versus the United States armies. As I believe this is the 21st second boat attack that the United States used on those people supposedly entering type of substance into the country. Says Russian oil tanker struck in an aerial attack hundreds of miles from Ukraine. It says this is from the Euro-Asia Review, right? Because I believe like a month ago, tensions re-escalate once again between Thailand and Cambodia. It says a window for de-escalation is short. Thailand and Cambodia must siege it now with Trump and Anwar. So we're going to see how that plays out. But till then, the tensions re-escalate once again between Thailand and Cambodia. So that's another sign of wars and rumors of wars. It says Trump teams defends second strike on drug vote as lawmakers worry about war crime. From the Washington Times reports. It says Putin is ready to fight NATO allies. Yep, wars and rumors of wars. Just like Dr. Seven brought up that 2-minute 47 video clip that was just shown forth. So Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, is in progress as we speak right now. It says this is from the Miami Herald, from Jason Lemon, Newsweek World. It's updated December 2nd, 2025 at 11:30 a.m. 11:38 a.m. I meant to say. It says from World News of Miami Herald. It says Putin ready to fight NATO allies, which the European Union. It says Russian President Vladimir Putin has said the country is prepared to fight European nations, many of which are members of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization of NATO. In a comment to reporters on Tuesday, it says we're not going to fight Europe. I had said this a number of times, but yeah, it says, but if suddenly decides to fight and start, we are ready right now, Putin told reporters. According to, and that makes perfect sense because you think about it, it seemed like they are in that mindset because you think about it because we've seen potentially, I think as of next year, 2026, they're going to increase the military spending from the European Union and NATO. So the tensions are definitely going to stir between the European Union and NATO together versus Russia. Even though Russia's not looking for a fight against them, but if they provoke them, Russia's going to have a right to defend themselves. And they said they ready as well too. Hey, so that goes into that Ezekiel the 38th chapter. Because the Heavenly Father's going to put the hooks in back of these jaws of these Russians, which represents the bear Ezekiel the 38th chapter. It says why it matters. It says Putin remarks comes as tensions remain high with NATO countries, amending Russia's war with Ukraine, while U.S. President Donald Trump has pushed for a peace deal. What's that? First Thessalonians. Apostle Paul was mentioned for when they shall say peace and safety. Sudden destruction come upon them as it every woman child shall not escape. And that's what Apostle Paul was mentioned. First Thessalonians, the 5th chapter. It says has a push for peace deal in a conflict. European nations have analysts has increasingly warned that Putin's ambitions may go well beyond a particular takeover Ukraine territory. I believe it was yesterday they had gained another ground on certain Ukrainian territories. Last time I checked, I think that was yesterday. It says Trump special envoy Steve Wetfloff and his son-in-law Jason Kushner are in Moscow to meet with Putin and discuss the involving peace plan. Ukraine, a